Hey, good morning, everyone. All right, we broke out last night. It backed off a little bit right at the beginning of the session, but it kind of did what we talked about yesterday. Big strong day yesterday for Dees corn. Currently, we're up 4.5 and at 494, so we're getting really close back to the highs. The high was 498.5 that we pushed up to in early March. Obviously, it's been in a downtrend since then. And now we've had this really strong move up. I mean, look at all these up days in a row now. It's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 counting today. If it does close that way, looks good. Nothing to really say here. Resistance will be that swing high, 498.5. Support is going to be all the way down. First, the overnight low at 489.25, and then the 5 day at 487.75. But yet again, like, I don't have a great fundamental reason for this to back this up. The chart looks great. It is probably a little bit overdone at this point, just because of how much we've done here as far as the up move goes. We are not overbought yet from the RSI standpoint. Open interest is going up. Volume's been fine, not crazy, but fine. Nothing really to say here. Getting close to overbought on the stochastic, but still a little bit of separation down there. What I think is really interesting too is if you go to the weekly, so this is off of the old crop, but you've got this nice little channel that we've developed here now, right? We've been to the bottom side of it a few times, we've been to the top side, and if we were to work our way up back to the top side again, just to the top side of the channel, you're talking about low 480s for old crop, which we're at 464 today, right? So another 15 to 20 cents relative to what new crop will do. Let's call it maybe more. I mean, let's call it even though. That puts new crop up just under around 510. So really nice, setup here. There's nothing to really say down here as far as, oh, you better watch out for this right now. I would guess that we're going to try to work our way up to the top end of this channel, and again, it'll take something, some catalyst to get us out of this. Weather this summer, but it's going to be right at the right time. So we'll just have to watch the price action on this, see what's doing. But short term, we're going to challenge that high, and my best guess is that we're going to get through it and work our way up to the top end of this channel that we're looking at right here. Moving over to soybeans, somewhat strong, but just kind of hanging out still. I mean, a lot of sideways stuff here. Volume was good yesterday. Currently up 1.25 at 1167. Resistance will be yesterday's high, 1167.75. We have not gotten through that yet. We got to 1167.5 last night. Support looks like it's working on this 10-day down here, but 5-day initially last night. So the 5-day at 1162 and an eighth. But then this swing low is a really nice swing low now. So 1151.5. You would break that, something's wrong. But this looks good. Separation. My best guess here is that we will take this high out on this move. How long that lasts, probably with the way this is acting, may depend on corn and wheat and what their action is like. But looks good right now. I got no negativity here. Volume increased. Open interest has gone up. So looks really strong. I would be very surprised if we don't take this out before we do any downside damage here. Wanted to show you KC wheat again. It's just like I said, it did follow through. Obviously yesterday it was a little bit weak when we talked. I said I thought it would probably still bounce from here. That's what's happened. We've shot back up. We've broken through that high. We're getting close to overbought. That doesn't matter sometimes on wheat. It's kind of like cattle. It just doesn't relate to some of the same things that corn and soybeans do from a technical standpoint. So I would guess this is going to work another leg up. Looking at the weekly, some of the targets I put in place, obviously, like this swing high over here, these swing highs, 725, 746. So those are areas that it's going to try to work itself into, with where it's at right now. Let me go back here. So we're overbought on the weekly too. So any down week, you're gonna have to be a little nervous because this is showing divergence as well. If it were to turn around and reverse this thing, these take a while to move, but you've got separation here, suggesting lingering upside momentum. So again, best guess with the way this is acting is higher. and I would be surprised if it doesn't do that here in the short term. So I'm not looking for some kind of a complete reversal here today with the way things look on this chart right now. So would be surprised if we don't just continue this thing up. But anyway, let's go back to, so yeah, corn looks good. I think we're going to move into those highs again. This is, corn and soybeans are definitely behind wheat on what's taking place here. I still do worry overall, just to be clear, that because we didn't take as much of a break as I would have guessed that we would, that this leaves us vulnerable for an earlier high. Now that could still be, into late May, even early June. But that would be my concern right now. So my best guess now, because this has not, this has done what it's done here over the last week, is that we're going to work up. And unless we have a crop problem, which just doesn't happen that often, I know we can be worried about it, just doesn't happen consistently. I worry that we're going to make some early highs here sometime in late May or early June, and that's what I'll be watching for. All right, everybody, have a great day.